Hey guys, so this is the extra to insight number 3. This is from R Holland's book, and I just wanted to read you what he said on it because it just is beautiful, this book here, A Day Star Rising. So if you have this, go have a look at it. If you've got it, you might have already read it. But if you don't, then you still get to hear some of the goodness because you get to hear it in my lovely Kiwi accent instead of lovely R Holland's soothing voice. Never mind. I'll do my best here. So, he gives he doesn't say anything about the Matthew part, but he does speak to the Mark 4 scriptures. So we looked at Matthew. This is the same account in Mark 4. So, the Saviour beleaguered and tired. I don't know if you ever think of the Saviour being tired, weary from crowds that surround him and the blessings that he has given. The love that he feels and the strength that is drained from him says, let us cross over the lake. This is Galilee. The same day after he had been speaking to the people, when evening was come, he saith unto them, let us pass over unto the other side. And when they had sent away the multitude, they took him even as he was in the ship, and there were also with him other little ships. That's Mark 4:35-36. So he goes on to say, if I said only that much, and you were a student of the New Testament, you would know what gospel I am quoting. I am quoting Mark. Mark is like a journalist. Mark is like the eyewitness news at 6 p.m. Mark tells you the precise details. He is the only writer that would have said there were other little ships with him. And there arose a great storm of wind, and the waves beat into the ship, so that it was now full. And he was in the hinder part of the ship, asleep on a pillow. That's 37-38. Another small but exquisite point. Someone, almost certainly a woman, was kind enough to have provided him with a pillow. He is tired, really tired, because one has to be exhausted to sleep through a storm in which the boat is taking on water. Furthermore, these were experienced men on board with him. 11 of the 12 were Galileans. Only Judas Iscariot was a Judean. And 6 of those 11 were fishermen. They had lived on this lake. They had made their living by fishing on it. They had been there since they were children. Their fathers had them mending nets and making repairs on the boat when they were very, very young. They know the sea. They know the winds and the waves. They are experienced men, but they were terrified. And if they are afraid, this is a legitimate storm. He was in the hinder part of the ship, asleep on a pillow, and they awake him and say unto him, Master, carest thou not that we perish? That's Mark 4:38. I am sure they thought about their situation. I am sure they wondered, should we wake him? He is absolutely exhausted. He has to be, to sleep through this. But they are legitimately afraid and fear the boat is going down. So with some trepidation, I am certain, they shake him a little, and then they have to shake him a lot, saying, Master, carest not that we perish? He arose. I have often wondered how he looked at them. I will leave that to you. He arose and rebuked the wind and said unto the sea, Peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. But he is not through rebuking. He has rebuked the elements, but now there is a gentle rebuke for these his brethren. And then he said unto them, Why are ye so fearful? Why is it that ye have no faith? That's Mark 4:39-40. Is that fear? Wouldn't you be afraid? I would be afraid. I do not like water sports. I swim, I ski, I have fun in the water, but I am very respectful of it. I am mindful of the power of water, and I have seen its force in nature. I can honestly say when my children go on a boating excursion of any kind, I am always uneasy until they are home and we can count all the noses. That was cute. I am sure I would have been afraid, at least for the others, if I had been on that boat and that storm had come. I am sure I would have thought the boat was going down. Would he have said to me, Why are you so afraid? How is it that you have no faith? Surely it is not that they don't have any faith. This is early in their ministry. It's only the 4th chapter of Mark. But Jesus has them on an accelerated schedule. He has to create a quorum of the 12 apostles in 36 months, made up of brand new converts, no small task indeed. Here in the middle of a storm, the Saviour is trying to teach them, and it is a hard lesson indeed. They cannot afford to be afraid, particularly in light of what lies ahead of them. Fortunately, the next line relieves the tension a little, at least for the reader. The scriptures can make you smile. And they feared exceedingly. So much for a lesson about being fearful. Except now it is a different fear. Now it is not about the storm, it is about him. They feared exceedingly and said one to another, What manner of man is this, that even the wind and sea obey him? It's Mark 4:41. They're not quite sure what they have signed on for here. We can be sure they are going to see much more that will make them stand in greater awe. Why does Jesus push these 12 men as much as he does with the line, "Why do you have no faith?" The answer to that is embedded in the first line of the story. Did you miss it? I passed it over quickly in hopes you would. The first line of the story is, "That same day when even was come, he saith unto them, Let us pass over unto the other side." If the living Son of the living God says, "Let us pass over to the other side," we can be absolutely certain they are going to pass over unto the other side. However much the wind blows, however much the rain pelts, however much stress the boat experiences, and however fearful it might be, it is going to be all right. Peter, James, John, Andrew, Bartholomew, Philip, and the rest, be calm. Ride out the storm. You are going to go to the other side because he said you would. Do you think for one moment that God in his heaven would let the boat go down with the living Son of the living God and Redeemer of the world on it? With all he was and all he had left to do, they are going to the other side. So, that's from Elder Holland's book. That's his take on it. And I really love in there that he actually expresses himself, that if he had been on that boat, he would have been afraid. And we know Elder Holland well with all of his experience and all of his knowledge and his testimony of Christ, and he still freely admits he would have been terrified. And he's not even a fisherman, and these guys were fishermen, so this is a legit storm. So to have that in there, he to be reminded again too that he was calling a quorum of the 12 to train them, new converts, in 36 months. That's all it was, the ministry of Christ, 36 months, done. It's not even, it's like 3 years. That's it. That's all he had to get a fully functioning quorum of the 12 from converts that had never had the gospel before. So, what he's trying to teach them, they were definitely on an accelerated path. So I really appreciate Elder Holland's take on this as well. It's a book I would totally recommend for you if you do have the funds to get it. But not everybody does. So I will read you excerpts from it, but I will absolutely tell you that it is Elder Holland. So that goes with insight number 3. But those were Elder Holland's words and not mine. Those are his. Totally credit him. Great book. Again, there it is. Deseret book. Our Day Star Rising. And I can tell you that this is a beautiful book, but it's going to be one of those lasting things that people refer to for many years. Absolutely know it will be. All right. Hope you enjoyed Elder Holland's words, and hang around. We're going to go for another insight. Will be insight number 4. But yeah, thanks for listening, guys.